Padre nuestro que estás en los cielos, santificado sea tu nombre. Venga tu reino, hágase tu voluntad como en el cielo, así también en la tierra. El pan nuestro de cada día, dámonos hoy, y perdónanos nuestras deudas, como también nosotros perdonamos a nuestros deudores. Y no nos metas en tentación, mas líbranos del mal, porque tuyo es el reino, el poder y la gloria, por todos los siglos. Amén.
Es solamente para blanco.
That's for white people.
Japei, por eso creo que Pepe, Saya Pepe, Roñe por comunidad, hoy que oren 10 hermanos Carlos.
But then
Creta,
a brother named Carlos?
Carlos.
Carlos came to their
Ellos partido ya.
hey,
Alemanes.
some German people
Misionero.
came to their community at that time,
Yo voy a dejar la palabra de Dios.
and they brought the Bible,
Roñe por oren 10 hay comunidades.
and they began to
Oye,
talk
por
in
la
the
Igarcón,
community.
Cuchá, como en la farmacia.
And they made a pharmacy and a church there,
Pero que yo como use ve la ñande yaña.
and then they told him about the Bible.
Ayer oyeron ñande yare mantela arecota salvación que tenía.
And then when he believed in God, he received salvation from above.
Añe arrepentí, a ya paite más allá pues.
And he repented of the things that he used to do.
A coanga puesta saya cueve como miembro de consejero ambas pueblos.
And now he is a member of the leadership in his church, like an elder in his church.
Comunidad ambas como se acuerdan de la como consejo.
Their community has like a consejería, like a group of counselors.
Pero la
that help
iglesia
manage.
con hacer areco la ñemeo se encargo a puesta como diácono.
So he's a deacon, is what would be officially in a church called.
Ya la areco.
Y entonces.
Sí, ahora.
Sí.
Ya la.
And so he's happy that he had that experience, and he's had that for years, longer than some of us have been alive.
Sea pura ahí domingo, apura ahí miércoles, viernes.
And so every week they have singing
Ya de ya
on,
la penguana.
and they can sing to God on Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. They have their
Es verdad.
Hey, sound like you're short. You're gonna hold that.
Así, mira, ahí así.
So you're gonna hold it like that. You're gonna do what he says.
Usted me va por lo menos así, mira,
So
para
then go
matarme,
like you're
algo
gonna
así
hit
por lo
him.
menos. para
Go like
matarme.
you're trying to hit him.
Por lo vos sos, digamos, español.
You're
Y
gonna
yo
be
soy-
a
yo
bad
soy el indio
Spaniard.
guaraní.
Okay. So you go.
Y entonces, igual en la guerra, ven, digamos, la punta.
It's also sharpened
Filoso.
on the edge so that you can kind of cut if you're twisting and moving quickly.
Así, mira, ahí. Ahí, tú, ahí.
So that's why it's double-edged. It's double-edged so that you can adjust to a longer weapon or other things around you.
Entonces uno te viene bueno, ese, como nosotros sabemos que los indios guaraní anteriormente así, fero, pues, entonces como te hace así. Ahí, tú, y ahí ya, ahí ya.
Yeah, and then they would also dodge backwards. This explains.
These are the dry bones becoming his flesh. And these are the days of your servant David, rebuilding a temple of praise. And these are the days of the harvest, for the fields are as white in your world. And we are the laborers in your vineyard, declaring the word of the Lord. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, lift your voice, the year of Jubilee, and out of Zion till salvation comes. There is no God like Jehovah. 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 Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, lift your voice, it's the year of Jubilee, and out of Zion till salvation comes. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, lift your voice, it's the year of Jubilee, and out of Zion till salvation comes. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, lift your voice, it's the year of Jubilee, and out of Zion till salvation comes. Behold, he comes, riding on the clouds, shining like the sun. At the trumpet call, lift your voice, it's the year of Jubilee, and out of Zion till salvation comes. Lift your voice, the year of Jubilee, and out of Zion till salvation can it be that thou
Morning. So that tells you everything about the trip. I can now go.
Okay,
So-
what was that animal that looked like the anteater that was
It's
walking?
called a coati.
Okay.
I don't know if it has an English name, but
He looked rather friendly.
yeah, they're very friendly. They're all over the place.
Are they? Okay.
In Iguazu National Park, where we were. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, so we had a wonderful trip, and myself and Trey and the Reinholdts, you'll hear from us. And so I just want to give a kind of brief introduction, and then I'll ask Trey and Uli and Matthias to come up and give their impressions, and then I'll go into the specific projects that we did at the different churches. And also, this was a very special year because it was the year that the National Presbyterian Church of Paraguay was established. So I'll talk a little bit about that as well. So Paraguay is a really blessed place. This is a map of Paraguay. And I won't go into a lot of the details about Paraguay. I think I've talked about that in the past. A little bit about Project Paraguay, which was organized as a project of Heritage Presbyterian Church back in 1996. And the founder of Project Paraguay was Pastor Rob Amsler. And the first missionary was Joel Acevedo, who came from Chile, sent by the Chilean National Presbyterian Church to establish churches in Paraguay. And the first church was the Renuevo Church that was established around the year 2000. Today, there are 5 churches, and as I mentioned, this year they established a National Presbytery. Project Paraguay itself became independent in 2014, and we have a budget around $80,000. And with that, we support 5 churches, a school, medical outreach, and construction every year. And with a budget close to $80,000, which is barely enough, really, if you think about it, to send a full-time missionary to most places in the world, our money really goes very far. And I think that it works a whole lot better than the traditional missionary model. This is the ministry team that we have that deals with the day-to-day issues that we encounter. Our mission trip this year, this is the team that we had this year, and with participants from 11 different 6 different churches, and we had 11 participants from Florida and Virginia. And we accomplished 2 medical fairs, 4 VBSs, did construction work at La Roca Church, and we interacted with 4 of the 5 churches that we support, which is Renuevo, the original mother church, Barrio Parque, our second church, La Roca, and Ebenezer. Last year we helped the Pura Vida Church in Asuncion, but this year, since the Alexandria Presbyterian Church sent a team right after our team, and their main focus was just the Pura Vida Church, so we did not interact with Pura Vida this year. This is our team house, and it was built in 2022. With funds from myself and Keen Hilltoft, but we use it as a team house for Project Paraguay. And as you can see there, we fly the Paraguayan flag and the oldest Christian flag currently in use. Does anyone know of what country it is? Denmark. Denmark has the oldest Christian flag in the world. Typically what we do is we get up in the morning, and these next 5 pictures are from a previous trip, not from this trip, but just gives you an idea of our daily routine. So we get up every morning, and at 8 o'clock we have breakfast, and we do a devotional, and then we organize into our sub-teams of construction, VBS, and medical, and we discuss and plan for the events that we do during the week. And typically we eat lunch either at the team house or in the field where we're doing our work. Last year we had a really nice trip to the Paraguayan jungle and did some extreme sports. This year we did not do that because we did not have a lot of young people, which hopefully we will change next year. And so last year we did rappelling and zip lining, a lot of volleyball in front of our house. From here on, these are pictures from this year. We attended the expo and saw some really interesting exhibits, including really fat cows and other interesting animals, really good food. We also visited Asunción via the coast, the Costanera. We took our annual picture in front of the Lopez Palace. And we happened upon a military parade in downtown Asunción, right in front of the Pantheon of the Heroes, where the heroes of Paraguay are buried. We watched the World Cup soccer final. And after all of our work was done, we had the opportunity to drive from Asunción to Ciudad del Este, and on the way we saw a really interesting Mennonite community where they speak German, and it's very different in terms of the culture and also the layout of the houses and everything. So it was very interesting to see this subculture of Germans living in the middle of Paraguay, and we visited the Sommerfeld Mennonite Community Museum, and you see on the wall there the pioneers of this community who are still alive, and it was established, I believe, in the 1930s, late 30s. And we went to Ciudad del Este, which is kind of the shopping hub of Paraguay, where there seemed to be more Brazilians than Paraguayans, but it was very modern and a lot of cheap goods. We went to Argentina via the ferry, bypassing Brazil. Brazil is on the left, Argentina is on the right, and Paraguay is behind us. And so we went directly from Paraguay to Argentina, bypassing Brazil, because Brazil has all kinds of visa requirements. And just kind of a bureaucratic nightmare to go through Brazil and then to Argentina. So we spent a little bit of time at Puerto Iguazu, and that's the Three Frontiers area. And then we visited the falls. And the other thing we did is we listened to a ministry presentation from an American missionary whose goal is to get churches and their members interested in fostering and adopting needy children. And his organization is called Little Neighbor, and he's an American missionary who's been in Paraguay for many years. So very, very eye-opening presentation on the plight of the children in Paraguay. And then my daughter, Jennifer, who has a medical ministry in Paraguay, gave us a presentation about her outreach to the indigenous communities, specifically the Umbaya community, which is kind of a subset of the Guarani people. And for the first time this year, they have an audio Bible, the full Bible. Before that, they only had a written Bible, but the written Bible really is not useful because 95% of the Umbaya are illiterate. So what we are doing, what Project Paraguay did, is finance the translation of the Bible into Umbaya in an audio format. And so she distributes these to these communities that she visits, and also the Barrio Parque Church, which has a ministry to the Umbaya also distributes these Bibles in audio format. And Trey, would you like to give your impressions?
Good morning. I've always wanted to clip one of these things onto my tie, so I'm very excited about that. This is my one moment. I might not get a chance again. For those of you, I think I know everyone here, but I'm Trey, a deacon here, and also a proud board member of Project Paraguay, and also help as their treasurer and some of their finances and such. And also my third year attending Paraguay, my third year in a row, which has been a tremendous blessing. And so I know Albert's going to go through kind of the specifics. So maybe I just want to talk about, I guess, some of the ways it's impacted my life, maybe specifically this year. Every time we go, the focus is to help them and the local people there, and we definitely do that. But there's also the side of, all of us who go have a great blessing upon us, and the people there are so hospitable, and I feel encouraged and come back refreshed every year that I go. So it's such an encouragement to be able to go, and thank you to all of you guys for your prayers and the financial support as well, because without that, none of this would be possible. So talking about some of the specifics, I tell everyone this, but this has been probably my favorite year, which I said after the first year because it's my only year, and I said after the second year, and now third year, sure enough, I would say it's also been my favorite year. One of the main reasons for that is because of my Spanish. So my Spanish isn't much better, but I think I've gone enough, I've learned enough, and know the people enough where this was the first year I felt I was really able to communicate with the adults. So the prior years, I spent all my time with the kids because you don't need to know how to speak to them. You just play the games and, you have fun, give them candy. But this year was the first year I kind of felt confident enough and had the ability to make these great connections with the local pastors there. And as a result, I was able to do a lot of, I would say, bucket list type items. So, for example, one of the pastors gave me a Paraguayan haircut. I spent time playing chess with him. He's a little better than me, but we're pretty even, so it's good matches. I also got to ride around on a motorcycle without a helmet around the city, which was a very fun experience. A little dangerous because the drivers there are a little crazy and the roads are very bumpy. And most importantly, or the biggest bucket list item, was being there during the World Cup final, which almost didn't happen. So my original plan was to fly back on Sunday, and I was going to be flying during the World Cup final match. And something with that just did not sit right with me. The thought of not being there when I could be in South America, celebrating with the people there that love the game so much. So by God's grace, I was able to switch my flight, stayed an extra day, dealt with the work repercussions after the fact. That was fine. And was able to be there, which was a great blessing, and had a great time, and even bought, you maybe seen some of the photos, the one there, me playing the guitar, I have a Paraguayan jersey on, which you can see. So I have here a photo. This is my room. So all the things I've brought back, there's probably like 15 bracelets that the little kids have made for me, and necklaces, and all these drawings. And then there's the artisan crafts and stuff that I put up there. But probably my favorite item now is that Paraguayan jersey. And it's hard to see, but on the back, it has the autographs of all the kids in the neighborhood on my final day when they went through and they were signing it for me. So it's very cute. It's a very prized possession of mine now.
Were you wearing it while they were signing?
I was, yeah. I was. It was the only way to do it. So they were signing on my back, which fortunately the jersey, you have that great white space on the back. So much opportunity there. So I guess those are kind of my overall thoughts. I think the Lord really blessed us with a super smooth trip. I think this was the first year I didn't get sick. The first year I don't think anybody on the trip got sick, which is a great blessing because no one wants to be sick while you're there. And we didn't have car troubles. We were able to get everything, get to everywhere. We had one kind of diesel gasoline incident where we thought we put gasoline in a chainsaw, but it was actually diesel, which was kind of a fiasco for a bit. But we got it sorted out, and it all worked out. So yeah, I think that's kind of my overall thoughts. I'd love to talk with you guys about any more details or such, but I truly say at the bottom of my heart that, you know, every time I come back, a piece of me stays there a little bit. And so I'm excited to keep going, and really think the work there has been very beneficial for the locals, and it's truly been impactful for them and also for us that go. So thank you all.
Hi, my wife Uli, I'm Matthias, and this was our first time that we went to Paraguay. We know Albert from way back in Virginia, and so he always talked a lot about Project Paraguay. And normally in the summer we travel to Europe, and this year we thought, well, let's go to Paraguay, and which we did. I just wanted to really see it, get to know all the locations that I always hear about. What's La Roca? What's Barrio Parque? What's all this? So God used this trip also just to show us some things. You always have doubts right before you leave. Oh no, where am I going? What did I do? Why did I sign up for this? And so the Saturday before we left, we were reading a passage, Isaiah, I think it is, where Isaiah is being asked by God to talk and to go somewhere. And Isaiah then says, "Here I am, Lord, send me." So that was for us both the encouragement by God to say, "Here I am, send me." And so we went. And not everything was, it was not a comfortable vacation. It wasn't a vacation at all. But it was, we learned a lot. The people are very nice. It's very safe also. So if you have any of those concerns, don't worry. In those 2 weeks, I ate more beef than I normally eat in a year. Food is very good. Taking showers is adventurous because you just might get electrocuted. Oh, I also have my little Paraguayan jersey here. And I've talked enough, and I'll let Uli talk.
My name is Uli. I'm his wife, and I like to work with children. And so I had the opportunity to do VBS and prepare for that, and it was pretty easy to get a list together with little gifts. And we prepared little gift sacks, about 200, with gifts for the kids, and handed those out when we did VBS. And we had about, for each VBS, 50 to 60 kids. And I prepared some games, relays. And as you can see in the picture, they had to dress up for the relay and run around chairs and come back. And it seemed like they didn't at first understand how a relay works, and I had to describe it in Spanish, and forgot completely how to say "get in a line" in Spanish, but we managed, and it really I could experience that other people always come in and help. So I don't have to be in control, and that was a good lesson for me. God is in control, and even if some in the team were speaking Spanish, they came along, or some Spanish speakers helped me getting them in line and understanding. And then the games were great, and everything else. The gifts were great, and we had a great time with them playing afterwards. And the medical fairs were also interesting for me because I learned some more medical facts and just Jen was really explaining everything well, how to get blood pressure, and we learned some things, you too. And that was just interesting to do that. And people were thankful that they had a good medical passport late when they got out. So all in all, we had a real good experience, team-wise as well, getting to know the rest of the team and just having a good time with good food and talking together. Yeah.
So I'm not going to go into detail about the history of these churches since I talked about this a little bit earlier. Our only interaction with the mother church this year was to participate in their worship service and to sing a few songs in front of the congregation. We focused a lot on Barrio Parque Church and La Roca Church. Barrio Parque was our second project, and everything that was done at Barrio Parque was done thanks to American teams that came down and built the church. And Barrio Parque's specific special ministry is really to the indigenous community, because there's an indigenous community very close by. And as a result of its ministry, 3 years ago, we had our first indigenous Mbaya family that got baptized there, which is a real milestone because that's kind of considered against the culture of the Mbaya to be baptized. So that was a real inroad that we're continuing to exploit. The first vacation Bible school that we had was with the school that's at Barrio Parque, and that's a picture of that. And then we also conducted a vacation Bible school with the community there, and this is a picture of that with the community. And some more pictures of that. We also had a barber provide free haircuts for people who attended the medical fair. And before, in terms of preparing for the medical fair, as a team, the medical team would sort through all the medicines, put them in packets, get ready for the fair. And at the fair, we set up different tables. And here you see Matthias, I believe, at the BMI table, where we calculate the risk of stroke or heart attack, and that makes them think a little bit about their chances of dying, which is good for them to think about. And this is a nurse from Virginia, and his Paraguayan translator. And this is where the doctor was. One of the doctors was in the van in the picture on the left, and the other doctor was in a classroom. And the classroom that you see here on the right-hand side was where our dental team was. And they're provided by a foundation in Paraguay, the Vision Foundation, but they provide dental services at our medical fairs. And probably the most important table really is the pastoral table, which you see pictured here, where the pastor and volunteers would sit and pray for the people, for the patients, and provide them spiritual guidance and literature. So we have a kind of a holistic approach to medical fairs that emphasize both physical and spiritual healing, just like Christ did really in his ministry. La Roca Church, just a few years ago, just 4 years ago, there was nothing there, as you can see from these pictures. It was just a slab of concrete, and the kids would gather under the trees to worship God. And so 4 years ago, we started building on the land that we had bought. And so we have two buildings on it, a parsonage and kind of a Sunday school-sized classroom. And in that classroom, every Saturday, they have a computer lab. And so one of the things that we do is bring computers down with our teams. So we brought 6 additional computers for their computer lab, and that helps them learn basic computer skills, and that the children in the neighborhood can use in their lives. And in order to advertise our medical fairs and our VBSs, we go around the neighborhood, and there's a picture of Trey and the pastor, and I'm not sure, I guess it's the pastor's son on the right. So we're just going around the neighborhood passing out notices of our VBS and medical fairs, and also some evangelistic literature. So that's on the picture on the left is Jackie providing some literature. On the right is the dental clinic at La Roca. And we had these lines of people in front of the tables at La Roca. You see the setup at La Roca is very different than Barrio Parque because there's not a lot of development. It's basically still an open field. And our plan is to build a church, a sanctuary, right where the people are sitting right now next year. So hopefully the building, the structure will be up, and the team next year will be in charge of putting in the finishing touches like electricity, painting, putting the floor down. But right now, there are two buildings. The building on the right there that you see is the parsonage, and the building on the left is the classroom where they meet for events and Sunday services. And the inside of that building looks like that. It's basically a small classroom. And so at La Roca, we had our VBS. There's a picture of the VBS. And we had the medical fair as well. These are some pictures of the VBS. But our big push at La Roca is construction. And so that was the focus of our efforts this year, the construction at La Roca. And here we are leveling the field, the ground in preparation for building the sanctuary next year. And one of the problems at La Roca is a huge flooding problem. So we brought in a lot of dirt and spread the dirt all over. And we also built a drainage system, and that picture on the left is the part of the drainage system that we built to try to drain the water once there are real heavy rains. And we also discovered that one of our septic tanks there is non-functional because a wall has collapsed. And the picture on the right shows that. So our work was to alleviate the flooding problem this year. And the picture on the left shows our team basically creating a French drain right outside the property so that when it does rain very heavily, that the water won't pool up right next to the wall. And what the tenants who are living in the parsonage have experienced whenever it rains is the water seeping through the walls and really causing a mess in their living quarters. So we really wanted to fix that problem. And so hopefully our work there this year will have fixed that problem. The picture on the right there is the finished product. So we put a lip on, right next to the wall plus a drainage system right next to it. And the other thing we did was install electricity. And this is Gordon and Sandy with electrical wire. Before, the electrical connection was only to the parsonage. And so they had to basically cable the electricity over to the sanctuary in order to get electricity there. But now there's a direct line from the street to the classroom, the sanctuary area. And so that's what our electric team did this year. We also built kind of a ADA compliant ramp on the right-hand side. And we also hired a tractor to clear the land right outside the church to make it look nicer and to allow cars to park. And we also cut down a tree, and you saw a picture of that in the video, to make room for the construction next year. So that was a summary of our work at La Roca. Pura Vida Church, as I mentioned, we didn't do anything at this year, but just wanted to talk briefly about it. It meets in downtown Asuncion, and it has a very different appeal than the other churches. So Barrio Parque appeals to rural poor and more indigenous community, and does its services in Guarani. The La Roca Church also caters to the poor, the urban poor. Pura Vida Church is much more, let's say, much more middle class, appeals more to urban professionals, and it's in downtown Asuncion, and they meet at the Asuncion Christian Academy, which is a English-speaking school. And this is a picture from last year of our medical team at Pura Vida. Unfortunately, while we were in Paraguay, one of the most faithful members of our board and really devoted follower of our work, supporter of our work, Bob Sowers, who's pictured there on the left-hand side, passed away in Virginia. And so he was the mainstay of our computer ministry. And so he'll really be missed, and we hope that we can continue that ministry, computer ministry, but someone else will have to step up and do that. The Ebenezer Church is about an hour away in Villa Elisa. It's a very vibrant church, very involved in the community, and really has a really good mix of young people, middle-aged, and older folks. And the sanctuary you see there is in the back, and on the left-hand side is the building where the pastor lives. And probably was the most successful VBS that we conducted. Many, many kids showed up. And we had a really good, fun gospel message presented by a couple of clowns. And it was just a real fun event. And this is the group of the helpers who helped with the Bible school. The main issue right now with the Ebenezer Church, the main problem that they're having is that they're being kicked out of their facilities at the end of the year. And this happened like 6 years ago at another facility. And it's a real problem for the ministry because they have a established ministry, and it's a growing ministry, have a lot of programs, and then they have to leave and basically start in a new location. And it's already happened before, and this is something that we want to avoid in the future. So they will have to find a temporary place starting in January. But thinking long-term, they really need to buy their own land and build their own building. And so while I was there, Pastor Busto, who's pictured on the left, showed me a couple of plots of land that he's interested in buying. So this is one of those plots, which is close to the church. And then here's another plot that's close to the church. Unfortunately, because it's very central, and that's where their ministry is, the cost is quite high. It's like $75,000 to buy a plot of land there. And so that's a lot of money to raise, and that doesn't include the construction. So that's really our next big project that we want to start to undertake, is to help them buy the land and then build their facility. I want to talk a little bit about the establishment of the National Presbyterian Church of Paraguay. After close to 30 years and the establishment of 5 churches, they basically I guess, qualify to establish their own presbytery. These churches were under the supervision of the Presbyterian Church in America for those 30 years. And so now they're an independent presbytery. And it was very fitting that at the culmination of this 3-hour service, and this all happened after the main team had left, but I had stayed there for this thing. And there was a team that came from the United States, and it was real fitting that the pastor who presided over this was Pastor Amsler, who's a pastor at Heritage Presbyterian Church. He's the founder of Project Paraguay, so he officially proclaimed the formation of the new presbytery. So these are just some pictures of that ceremony. This is the group picture that comprised of representatives from Briarwood Presbyterian Church, Faith Reformed Presbyterian in Maryland, the Heritage PCA and Alexandria PCA churches, along with the leaders of the new presbytery. And then they had a closing song in Spanish, was kind of the Onward Christian Soldiers. So these are our kind of prayer needs. At La Roca, funds to build the new sanctuary. Ebenezer, new land and begin construction. And for next year, we would really like our team to be composed of energetic young people who can help with the construction of the church at La Roca. So those are our prayer requests. And I do have some information about the trip for next year. And it'll be the same time frame as this year, July 10th to the 22nd. And that's just some information about it. One thing that Matthias mentioned, which I have a slide on here, is that the U.S. Department of State just recently listed Paraguay as really one of the 2 safest places to travel to in Latin America. Not that that really should make a difference when you're thinking about missionary trips, but it's a data point that's interesting to know about. So are there any questions or comments for me or for the Reinholds or Trey?
I have a question. How many acres was the land for the 70,000?
That was, I think it was about an acre. An acre, 1 acre. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
For the planned construction project next year, do you have all the building plans and you know where you get the materials? Has all that been decided, or is that also dependent on funds being raised?
Well, the building plans are pretty much done. They're actually being reviewed by the session down there right now, and I'm supposed to get it this week. And then Gordon Kaler, who's in charge of construction, will review it, and we will discuss it at our next board meeting. But it's basically a copy of what we did at Barrio Parque. So it shouldn't be a whole lot of challenges, because we've already gone through that with a previous construction. But that construction will cost about $25,000 to build the La Roca Church. And that's just the structure. And we actually save a lot of money doing that, because if we wanted this construction company to do everything, to include electricity and all the finishing touches, it'll be much more. But the way we're operating is we just want the basics so that our team that goes down there can do the rest and save the church a lot of money.